Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 18th to the 24th of June 2018. We enter the summer solstice week, which is a very sacred turning point, and everything indeed is turning inwards. So on Monday we're called inwards by Uranus in Taurus, which is bringing us a certain strength of heart. This is a very good aspect that's happening over the summer as Uranus goes between Aries and sums up the last 7 years, where we've rewired how we think, helped to deprogram the mind from erroneous thought, and now Uranus in Taurus is doing the same but on a heart level. So we're called to explore all erroneous emotional conditioning. This needs to be cleared away so that our perspective and our expression can be heard. So there's a very fibrous, integral working going on inside, and this will be felt throughout the whole summer months, but I feel this very strongly for Monday because many people are suffering from wrong perspective on emotions, sentimentality, self-pity, needing others to validate themselves. So Uranus says, no, you have to validate you. You have to be true to your own heart, and only from there can you actually then meet others and allow them to be free and true to themselves as well. So exploring anything that's dragging, anything that's draining, anything that's heavy, and just allowing that to come to the light of day, to be explored, and see whether the actual emotional tone beneath it is true or not, or whether we're somehow being played, manipulated, pulled out of ourselves, or running an old pattern that's ready to go now, because there's a sense of great levity and freedom and liberation that can come from some of this inner work. This is deepened by Tuesday as Neptune turns retrograde in Pisces. So the outer planets take a long time to slow down. They're stationary for a long time, then they eventually turn retrograde. Then it's still kind of a stationary feeling before it actually gets any speed up going inwards. But Neptune in Pisces has been there for quite a long time, I think since 2011, something like that. So it's a familiar feeling. We've been ebbing and flowing in the waters of Pisces with our tuning in fork of Neptune. So it's feeling the tone, it's feeling the vibration, the resonant truth, and the cellular emotional intelligence. Once again, we're called inwards to really tune in with that. So another lovely inwards expression as we go through the next 5 to 6 months, with Neptune retrograde in Pisces, calling us inwards to listen to our evocative call, the soul voice, and the calling of our intuition, and to swim in the divine waters of where we come from and where we go to, and the other realms, the other worlds beyond the 5 senses. So this is beautiful timing as we then go into the summer solstice. The summer solstice is a 3-day event where the sun is rising and setting at maximum arc across the sky, and it's a tipping point. It's a time like a paused breath where we can just be held in the balance, where we can reflect and give thanks for all of the vital life force energy that we receive every day, and reflect on life, energy and soul. To capture the light and to honour the moment is the quest of the summer solstice. So we enter with the sun into Cancer on Thursday, swapping from Gemini into Cancer, from the light half of the year to the dark half of the year, with that moment to stop and reflect on all that we've received, all that we've built, all that we've put our energy to, and to capture the essence of that, as from now on the sun will begin to decrease in its arc and the nights will start to slowly draw in. So these are very powerful days for healing and finding balance, to find the middle ground between any polarities in our life, to inspect both sides and bring ourselves into calibration. It's also a very powerful time if you want to charge up any crystals or make any herbal concoctions. These are very powerful skies for capturing that energy and for charging things up magically. So we have the chance to leave the physical, mental, emotional concerns of the mundane world aside and step into the vibrational ocean of oneness, to refresh ourselves, to revitalise ourselves, to purify ourselves. And then as the sun sets on the 24th, there's a sense of gratitude, remembering those that have passed, remembering the gift of life as we hang in the balance and walk between the worlds. And there's a connective aspect to this as well, because our ancestors would have all held practices and ancient rites at these times. So a very inward, gentle, reflective week as Neptune turns retrograde in Pisces just before the summer solstice. The sun steps over into the water sign of Cancer. We dive into the ocean of feeling to clean up our feelings from the conditioned ones and to rebalance ourselves, the polarities, any health issues, to get out of the mind and into the cells, into the real wisdom, and just allow everything to pause with reflection and gratitude, and to appreciate the value of life itself. At this time of year, I like to encourage people to tune in more closely with the cycles of the moon, because Cancer's ruled by the moon, and many people realise when it's a full moon and they may go to a meditation or gong bath or something like that. But we actually have our own personal lunar calendar. You have your own personal new moon and your own personal full moon. There's things that we can do on the dark moon as well as the new moon and the full moon. And if we start to engage with this process more deeply, then we're tuning into the cycles of time, because the moon takes us on a monthly journey, whereas the sun around the zodiac takes us on a yearly journey. And this is the way that we can really capture astrology and make it our own, see where it's happening in our chart, see where it applies to us, and see where we can harness the energies. So if you'd like to join me to explore your own personal lunar calendar, it's very easy to do. I've got a simple technique that I do encourage you to contact me, and you can either have a reading or work through my online course with access to me. But it's really a wonderful time to start tuning in with the cyclical nature of time, so that we feel more connected rather than the linear aspect of time, which keeps us reaching outwards and keeps us disconnected with everything else that's going on in the great spiral of things. So if you'd be interested in that, or a reading, or to come to any of my events, then I'd love to meet you, and I am available, zoehines7@gmail.com, or all my information is on my website, www.astrozoe.com. My Facebook is at astrozoe, and my Instagram at zoehines7. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.